Everyone. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and coffee stream episode 463. And it is Wednesdays with Skep today. How are you, my friend? I know you're still pretty tired.
I'm tired, but I'm doing okay.
Oh, good.
The patient always stops bleeding, as they say in the and
Oh, yes.
how are you? You having a good day?
I actually am having a good day. I've been released from TikTok jail.
Yay!
so so I'm
I
now
guess that's a good thing.
I'm now allowed to post again.
Does that have any permanent thing like a YouTube strike, or
So
does it just
the
vanish?
they do vanish over time. Like it right now I'll probably still have a banner across my thing that says if you fuck up again, you know, because if I get one more violation, I'll be put into what's called viewer only mode for a week.
Okay, but does how long does that probation last, or
I
is
think
it
it's like a
permanent?
month.
Okay. All right. So they are trying to discipline you and train you to
Yeah,
be
and then
an obedient slave.
if I get too many of these violations, my account will be banned.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. That's just bullshit.
Oh, and it's all because people who are either straight up anti-vax or
Hmm.
so against the COVID shot that they're willing to co-opt a story about someone going blind from measles to make their point about a completely different vaccine that is made a completely different way.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
it's
it.
really, really fucking frustrating.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I can imagine. It's just people being ignorant. Really, it's nothing more than that, and and being prejudiced. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, people at TikTok and YouTube and Twitter, they they're deeply ideological at the top. They
Yes.
have a particular ideology that they want to inflict upon the world. It's their worldview, and it's the only acceptable worldview. And if you fail to show that you accept and promulgate that worldview, they will take steps against you.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. That really is what's going on. When you strip away all the nonsense and all the pretty words, it isn't about hate speech. It's not about harmful speech. It's not about misinformation. It's about you disagree with me, and I'm going to find a reason that sounds plausible to shut you up.
Yeah.
How can I make you do what I want you to do? It's control. It's
Oh, exactly.
always about control. But have you ever wondered why people like to control other people?
I think it's part of human nature.
Oh, I agree. But
We
what
we
part is it?
it's the
That's the interesting question.
I think it's probably the because there's back when we were in little bands, right?
Yes, right.
Roving
Roving
around
bands or warlords and
the
stuff. Yeah.
areas, and there was always a leader, right?
Hmm.
And even if you're a follower,
Yep.
right? There's always going to be some part of you that goes, I would really like to be in charge one day.
So you think it's about wanting to lead?
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that is definitely a major and maybe even the principal motive. But here's where I'm trying to get to. What is it in you that makes you want to lead? What is it in you that makes you want to make yourself the person who tells other people what to do?
I
That's
think
the fundamental layer. I have a
everybody
theory about it.
wants to be listened to
Why?
because we feel for some reason that we have a valid point. And I think that this is part of the double-edged sword of sentience, quite frankly, because
You think it's just a fundamental part of being a sentient being?
Yes.
Okay.
We, as a sentient being, we are aware that we are ourselves and that there are others that are themselves. And we want ourself to be important.
But why? But why?
It's I think it's this drive, maybe even an imperative tied to reproducing, because maybe we feel that if we are seen as the most important by others, we will become more attractive.
What is
somehow.
the motivation for that reproductive impulse?
Yeah.
What's the motivation for that?
Just
I'll tell you what I think it is.
Okay.
Because I have something very specific I was driving toward, and you went all the way there, and that is that we want to make our futures less uncertain.
Yes.
Mankind does not want an uncertain future. When it comes to risk versus reward, for most people, risk they would rather avoid risk than chance a reward.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are afraid about the world. They don't understand very much about it. It's a big, scary world that hurts them occasionally. Yeah. And anything they can do to make it less uncertain as they proceed through life, they regard as desirable. And I really believe that motivates most of human action and interaction. I think that, and this isn't a new thought. That's actually a fairly major psychological theory, that motivation of human behavior is to reduce uncertainty.
Yes.
And it's just about it's a drive to live longer, and it's essentially an outgrowth of survival instinct, in that in order to survive and thrive, you have to be able to negotiate the unknown. And anything you can do to make the unknown, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but it becomes a little more predictable if you're in charge and telling people what to do, say, and think.
Absolutely.
And so to have a group of people out there who are saying scary things like, getting a vaccination should be a matter of personal choice, or on the other side, flip side of that, having somebody say you must get a vaccination, that really bothers the people who have the opposing point of view, and they want to dominate the conversation, insist upon their point of view, and cram it down other people's throats so that they feel better about their environment. They feel like they have more certainty going forward.
Yes.
So that's my theory. But that's anyway.
So I told you guys last night about a Joe Biden quote that made me laugh.
Yes.
I found the video.
Oh my God.
Behold. Load, damn you. Load. This is why I need to replace my computer. There we go.
There it is. As one computer said, if you're on the train and they say Portal Bridge, you better make other plans.
Yeah.
God, that's our president.
Is this gonna play?
No, I can't. I can't hear it. He's I don't think you clicked share audio.
Oh, I did.
You did?
I did. I just have to make sure I'm at the video. Hold on.
No, you're at the. Yeah, I can see the video playing now.
Oh, it's just muted.
It's playing over and over again.
Yeah,
it is. It is muted.
And it's going busy, but never mind. Anyway,
yeah, okay.
That's what he said. As the old computer once said.
As the old computer once said.
When you're on the train and they call for a portal bridge, it's time for a change of plans.
What the fuck?
I mean, like, I know Trudeau's a lying racist piece of shit, right?
He's not.
But at least
That's all
he's
good.
coherent, for
Yeah.
Christ's sakes. Jesus fuck.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Joe Biden, it's so funny because do you remember the great sport that the left had with George W. Bush and his malapropisms?
Mm-hmm.
And uh, you never hear a peep from CNN or Saturday Night Live or any of the lefty
Nope. Not one.
outlets making fun of Biden. And he is absolutely a wreck. He's a wreck of a human being.
And George Bush had some amusing.
Oh,
They misunderestimate me. Oh
Yeah,
boy.
exactly.
I just went to the Coyote conference. No, Kyoto.
Yeah. Now, I personally think a lot of that was staged because it amused him.
Yeah.
You have to know his personality.
He's a
bit.
jokester.
He's a jokester. He's a salesman. George Bush was a salesman. That's all he ever was. And he isn't really good at anything.
No.
He was an awful pilot. He was so bad he quit drilling because this is the secret. He used to fly F-102s. He was scared he was going to drive one into the ground because he was so bad at it. And it was amazing that he made it through flight training at all. And he had a job. Just move this F-102 from this place to the next place. He was never a dogfighting ace or anything like that. He could barely fly the thing. And he actually quit drilling before he was supposed to, but they didn't go after him, although they did make a bunch of trouble about it. But at any rate, George W. Bush was not a great man. He was a jokester. He was a salesman. When he owned the Texas Rangers,
Yeah.
he was always much more comfortable going down and hanging with the players, and joking in that really obscene, jockish way.
Yeah.
He was that level of person. He was not the sophisticated businessman. He had an MBA. I might have had a Harvard MBA. I can't remember. Hang on, I'll tell you in a minute, George.
He was a total frat boy.
Bush. Yeah, he was a total. He and I was a frat boy too. So be careful here. But I'm just kidding. I was a fraternity too, and that is an attitude. It's a valid thing to. Yeah, it was Harvard. He got a BA at Yale, and then got an MBA at Harvard, and that's a difficult program. I mean, you have to. He's the only president to have earned an MBA. It's kind of an interesting thing about George W. Bush, but that was one of those things where he just strapped it together for long enough and had enough, basic intelligence to make it through the program. The hardest thing probably about the Harvard MBA is making it into the program. Once he was there, he probably got into a study group. I have an MBA. I know how you can do it if you choose to do it.
Yeah.
I would say that his grasp of the quantitative tools of an MBA was probably not just super firm. The way that they teach that is the first year they teach you the quantitative tools. You learn all the math techniques, statistics, and stuff like that that you need to do business analysis. And then the second year is applications. So it really does build on the first year. A lot of people flunk out at the beginning of their second year, and here's why. They haven't learned their quantitative tools well enough, but here's what you can do. You can latch on to a study group that has some strong performers in it. and just have them kind of help
Tutor
you do the
you.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not even tutor. It's like do the work.
Please do my homework.
Hey,
I'll pay you.
we've got this big project, and give me something like, he probably always was the guy who did the marketing plan because he had a famous father, and it's important that he graduates. So let's give him the marketing stuff, and we'll do the regression analysis on the economics and the finance stuff, and all, leverage computations and future value. Because I doubt seriously that George Bush could ever do a future value computation.
No.
He just does not have the mind to grasp that. He was a jock. He was a salesman. And that was as far as it went. But,
hello, Costin. Hello, Fury Kitten. Hello,
anyway.
honey. I hope Pincalo, Costin, Fury Kitten are in chat.
Yeah, I see Fury Kitten. I see Costin, who is probably blaming me for something. And Pinkal, how you doing, bud?
Costin's thing is to blame my co-hosts.
That's happy Blame Skep Talk Day.
Happy Blame Skep Talk Day. When Functional's on, it's Blame Functional Day. When Pincalo is around, it's Blame Pincalo.
Spread the blame around. There's plenty.
Whoever is in the vicinity of blind press, it's their fault.
I was going to ask you, different subject. I was going to ask you, did you hear about Chris Wallace saying that Jen Psaki was a great press secretary?
Wait, what?
I know. This is Chris Wallace. He of the Fox News, the Sunday program.
You mean Jen Psaki, the chick who makes everything about how many women are in the cabinet?
Right, exactly. Good God.
Jen, what can you tell us about the economic plan? Well, there are we have an equal gender parity in the cabinet. And it's the first cabinet that has done that. Yes, that's very nice, but what can you tell us about the economic plan?
Well, Admiral Levine is a transsexual.
Yeah.
Admiral Levine. Oh, God.
That still doesn't sound right.
God. Oh, it's just wrong. I mean, if you take a uniform and put it on a grifter, which is basically what Levine is.
Oh, yeah.
And call him an admiral. It calls to mind a famous story from Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln called his advisors in one day. It was after a meeting, I guess. And he said, "Tell me, gentlemen, if I say that a dog has 4 legs and a tail, but I then say the tail, I'm going to call it a leg. How many legs does the dog have?" And they all looked at him and they said, the dog would have 5 legs then. And Lincoln looked at him and said, "No, the dog still only has 4 legs.
Yeah.
You can call a tail a leg, but that doesn't make it a leg. You can call Levine an admiral. That doesn't make her, him, it an admiral. It is a creature of, it's a publicity stunt, basically. It doesn't really do anything in government. It occupies a place. And I'm certain that its programmatic duties and its, essentially what it gets up and does every morning is mostly just show up.
Yeah.
Show up in your uniform and get your picture taken.
Hello, Talik. Hello, Gunfox. Welcome. Oh, Gunfox says he did drop some Canadian news in the Discord. Well, sir, if you are...
Let's go see about that.
I'm hoping that you are going to be around on Friday, because I will grab some of it. Because I've got this story, and then I've got another one that I wanted to go over.
Do you have any for today, by the way?
Pardon?
Do you have any for today?
Any? Yeah, I've got one up right now.
Okay, cool.
If I can...
I was over on your Discord. Okay, CBC.
Get to the... Yeah. So, Ontario has started its mandatory COVID thing, basically, is the COVID certificate, right?
Okay, so this is going to be essentially a vaccination pass or an antibodies pass or whatever.
It's basically a you have to show that you have both doses of your Pfizer or Moderna shot.
Okay.
And it's a QR code now that you can. I don't even have mine yet. I haven't even
So this
figured
is like
out.
a barcode thing.
Yeah, it's like a QR code that you'll be able to scan on your phone, apparently.
Cool. So
Um,
are they going to tattoo it on people or
so far,
like the
no.
Nazis did, or
So
they not
far,
going that
no.
far?
But time. Things could
Sure,
change.
give it time. Give it time.
Give it time.
Yeah.
you know, things could absolutely change. But it looks like we're going to lose possibly 50,000 educators in
You're
Ontario
kidding.
because um, of this thing. Because if you don't have it, and or you're not willing to prove that you've been vaccinated, because there are a lot of people that are vaccinated, like me,
Oh my God. I'm
that
looking at
that are saying we do not feel that we should have to disclose our records to you to.
it says as of September 22nd, you must provide proof of full vaccination against COVID-19 and personal identification to access certain businesses and settings. Your proof of vaccination is your vaccine receipt or enhanced vaccine certificate with a QR code, sometimes called the vaccine passport or vaccine record. In advance of October 22nd, you can download an enhanced vaccine certificate with a QR code. We encourage you to download and use your QR code as soon as you can. The existing vaccine receipts will continue to serve as valid proof of vaccination even when the enhanced QR code version comes into effect. And you are considered fully vaccinated if you have received one, the full series of COVID-19 authorized by Health Canada or any combination of such vaccines, two doses of Moderna, Pfizer, BioNTech, AstraZeneca, including COVID Shield in any combination, or one dose of Johnson and Johnson,
Yeah.
one or two doses of a COVID-19 vaccine not authorized by health, followed by one dose of a COVID mRNA vaccine authorized by Health Canada. So the second dose has to be
Yeah.
one of the authorized doses, or three doses. All right. Okay. Your final dose of the COVID-19 at least 14 days before providing the proof. So you not only have to be fully vaxxed, you have to have had 2 weeks of time.
Now, Pincolo does have a good point. He says, out of every single place I've been to since September 22nd, I have not been asked once for my
That's
certificate.
interesting.
And then Pincolo then says, though restaurants do have it posted that they're
That
going to
they're going to
ask you
ask
for
you
it
for it.
if you're dining in.
Okay,
If you're
if you're
not
dining
dining
in.
in, you're not going to get it. So if you go, say, to like the mall, the food court,
Mm-hmm.
and you order food but you get it to go,
Yeah.
you will not be asked to provide your passport, your certificate. If you say no, I'd like it for here, please, and you ask for a tray and you go to sit down, then you'll be asked for it. And this article is gonna say here, it says some school boards, such as the Toronto District School Board and some hospitals, have enacted policies that include possible termination. So this is
Get rid of those teachers.
yeah. So this says Ontario Education Minister says 50,000 people could lose their jobs if the province mandated COVID-19 vaccines for education workers. responding to the NDP in question
Mhm.
period today, Stephen Lecce, that's the education minister for Ontario, said such a policy would mean pink slips for tens of thousands of educators when Ontario already faces staffing challenges. Now, this is really stupid because Pinkalo does point out that in later on in this article, they do say that mandates are they are planning on lifting mandates in March. So, why would you fire people for not complying with a mandate that you plan on having for 6 months?
It's a good. At least you're not in an existing teacher shortage in Ontario. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
there's been
said,
a teacher shortage for 30 years in Ontario, according to Pinkalo. Oh,
yeah,
great.
there has been, yeah. So he said any unvaccinated staff member has to provide proof of a negative test to enter a school. The
So you have
government
to have
said,
a,
hmm,
a negative test.
yeah. So and we've stopped giving out the free tests now.
Yeah.
So now you have to like buy your own tests.
That's like me walking in. I mean,
So, oh yeah, Pinkalo does say because for those 6 months of mandates to maintain their funding, they probably have to have a 99% vaccination rate. Yeah, that is true. Because
there's no way you'll have
no,
99%.
there isn't. But we're following what fucking Mr. Biden said last week about how we want a 98% vaccination rate. And he said that, and then the next day, we up here our people start spouting that shit.
This is political medicine.
It is.
I hate this stuff. Gunfox had an interesting comment. I wanted to go back. He said, at this point, the brainless, untrained, worthless civilians are getting what they voted for. And they kind of are. They kind of, the people who voted for this tyranny, and I don't think that's too far off the mark,
Mm,
are going to get exactly what they voted in.
yep.
Uh, uh, Trudeau is a tyrant. He's an immature little baby who demands to get his way. He's petulant and brittle. Just a
Yeah.
disappointing human being in every possible way. And the political medicine aspect of this, it reminds me of things like for example, the opioid
Yeah.
uh, epidemic. It supposedly by taking and it's such a an article of faith now. To say it sounds funny, but people think that if you remove opioids from registered pharmacists who keep that stuff under lock and key and are very careful about dispensing it and keep doctors from prescribing it for pain, if you do that, that will somehow curb the opioid epidemic.
Oh yeah, because no
It
one's
will
gonna
never.
go look for heroin
Right.
or fucking street fentanyl
Jeez,
and
all it
die.
does, that. Well, that's how we solve poverty in the United States. Was the war on poverty, then the war on drugs. It's working great for us. Now, next it'll be the war on guns. the The problem with that is the same as the guy who says, "I've lost my car keys. I'm going to look for them under the street light. It's the middle of the night. I've lost my car keys. I'm going to look for it under the street light. Oh, did you lose them over there? No, I lost them in another part of town, but the light's better here."
Yeah.
So because it's easy, because it's an easy thing to do, and because it looks like the activity that you would do to help the problem, it seems intuitively appealing. People indulge in this kind of behavior. It just frustrates me to death.
Yeah.
I just want to jump up and down and say, you're not helping. You're hurting the problem. You're not helping. There are children, burn patients, who can't have pain relief because you want to feel good about your numbers. And the way this is done at the hospital level is they keep track of how many people are on opiates. They don't care what the diagnosis is. They don't care about anything but the number.
Yep.
And they want that number to be zero. And you have hospitals that have taken it off their what's called the pharmacopoeia, which is the list of available drugs in their pharmacy, which means they have no way to treat pain. If you come in abdominal trauma, they don't have morphine to give you.
No.
You come in from a car wreck and your bones are all broken and everything, they can anesthetize you, and that's all, which often will kill you.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Like
it's crazy time.
For the past few years, whenever I've had an ear infection, I've had to ask them, can you please prescribe me T3s instead of Toradol? Because
a failed NSAID.
Because first of all, and the crazy thing is that
it rips up your guts, by the way.
Yeah, it does. And Toradol isn't covered by ODSP, so they want me to pay like $60-$70 for a bottle of pills that's not going to do anything and make my stomach upset.
I know.
So I'm like, no, could you please prescribe me? And they will, but their first go-to is now Toradol.
Oh, yeah, of course, because it's something nobody knows, what it is, except it's very much like ibuprofen.
Yeah.
It's almost identical in the way that it works to ibuprofen. It is harsher on the stomach.
Yeah.
It will. I've had it injected into my intramuscularly, and it hurts like a son of a bitch. It hurts like gamma globulin. It just hurts like a bitch. And the reason is because it has a very low pH, which means it's very acidic, and it is literally burning your tissue. So, but rather, when my back went out and I had to be driven to the hospital, rather than give me the evil Demerol, which would have alleviated the pain and gotten me to where I could have straightened up, they gave me that and then watched me for 2 hours while I sat there suffering. The Toradol does nothing. It is absolutely, completely infected. It irritates the shit out of me. Anyway, that experience just made me realize that
Toradol's a joke.
Yeah, Toradol's a joke, and political medicine is bad medicine because medicine should be driven by the needs of the patient and the judgment of the doctor and nothing else. It just fucking makes me crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I've got an interesting little collection of little blurbs here. It's from the National Post.
Cool.
But it's called First Read. It's like kind of like a newsletter type of deal.
Yeah.
So it's got a few blurbs here. So I'll just open that and share it out. Because yesterday was we've got our new cabinet announced yesterday for the federal government. It's still going to be another month before they go back to work, even though we're in a economic crisis and there's we kind of need our government to actually be working. No, and you know what's great?
Mm-hmm.
November 22nd is when they're going back. Then there's Christmas.
I was going to say, wow.
Those lazy assholes usually take about 2 months off
for Christmas. Do they really?
So they're going back November 22nd, probably for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they'll be gone again till maybe February.
So they take the last 2/3 of January, of December, and all of January off.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
And they haven't been doing anything since the election.
I don't know what to say.
The election was September 20th.
Mm.
They just swore in cabinet yesterday on October 26th, and they won't be going back to work till the 22nd of November. Gee, why are people so pissed off at the government? And it's the, like, and this is why people in Ontario get so pissed off at people from Alberta when they say it's all of Ontario and Quebec that picks that gets us the governments we don't want. No. It's Toronto and Ottawa and Montreal.
Wow.
That's what it is. The rest of us with sane, blue collar, like, actual brains in our heads are like, no, we don't want you to print money. No, we don't want you to,
destroy our economy.
Destroy our economy and our country. And everyone in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, and Ottawa are like, oh, but screw you. So didn't they just come back off their summer holidays? Yes, they did.
Who is Tristan Hopper?
Tristan Hopper is a National Post author, and she has collected the offerings here that we have.
So she's the curator of this information. Okay.
What CBD can do for parents during these unprecedented times? Oh, you have no idea. Anyway, so it was swearing in day yesterday. Here are the highlights. Oh, this is going to be good. Number 1, Melanie Joly, whose longest cabinet stint was as Minister of Canadian Heritage, is now in charge of our foreign affairs. She's Trudeau's 5th foreign affairs minister in 6 years.
Really?
Really?
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
It's called the Trudeau Shuffle for a reason. It's no longer the Truffle Shuffle. It is the Trudeau Shuffle. Anita Bonand, or Anand or whatever, becomes the first female Minister of Defense since Kim Campbell. Yay. National Post columnist Sabrina Maddox saw this coming. Given the sheer number of male leaders in the military getting shunted aside due to sexual misconduct allegations. However, Maddox also warned of Trudeau's penchant to throw female cabinet ministers under the bus when things don't go as planned. See Jody Wilson-Raybould for your most eloquent example of that. Jody Wilson-Raybould was the Attorney General in charge when the Montreal Construction Company wanted to build stuff in Libya, and Trudeau was like, "Yeah, that's cool," and Jody Wilson-Raybould was like, "Yeah, no, it's not," and he was like, Miss Raybould, you need to do what I tell you, or you will no longer be the Attorney General. And so she said, fine. I will no longer be the Attorney General.
That's just peachy. I'm reading about this Melanie Joly.
Mm-hmm.
You do realize what her qualifications are.
Nothing?
She's a lawyer.
Okay.
Her father was he was like some political guy. That's her chief thing. Joly's father is Clément Joly, an accountant who was president of the Liberal Party's Finance Committee in Quebec and manager of the Canadian Air Transport Security Authority. And her mother was a lawyer, so she completed her degree.
Knows people.
Yeah, she completed her law education essentially by about 2005 or 2006, and worked at 2 law firms. She practiced at 2 major Montreal law firms, and is utterly and completely unqualified
to be the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
I am absolutely gobsmacked. She is one of these maniac Quebecois types. She's a fucking idiot. She's a francophonist. French first, last, and always. Spread French throughout Canada.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Pincalo says, you're going to see a commonality between all of these cabinet people. Almost all of them have some sort of activism in their background. I'm shocked.
I'm shocked, I tell you. Oh, good Lord. All right, well, anyway, so...
Do you know Foreign Affairs Ministry in Quebec just means dealing with the other provinces? Not wrong.
Not wrong at all.
In the last Parliament, Stephen Guilbeault was the face of Bill C-10, the Liberals' push to censor the internet, harder than any other Western democracy. Now, he's the Environment Minister.
Of course he is.
Guilbeault becomes the first person in the office to have once been arrested.
What did he unfurl?
For unfurling a banner from the CN Tower that read, "Canada and Bush, climate killers."
Okay, good to know he's well adjusted.
Oh, yeah.
You're in good hands here.
Everything is perfectly fine.
Oh, my God. Furry Kitten says, that fecker is going to do wonders in COP26 in Glasgow. I don't know what that means, but what is COP26 in Glasgow?
I don't know what that means, but that... Oh, God. Okay.
All right.
Mark Garneau.
Explain it to us, Furry Kitten.
Yes, please.
Right. I'm sorry,
please.
Go ahead.
Mark Garneau, who you may remember. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such films. Anyway.
Yes, exactly. Canada's first astronaut.
Whom you may remember as Canada's first astronaut, is going to the back benches. The former Minister of Transportation and Minister of Foreign Affairs is now just the MP for Notre Dame. Notre Dame de Grace Westmount. Aww.
Well, what that means is he gave up.
Womp womp.
He probably said, "You guys are too fucking crazy for me. I just want to be in Parliament. Just leave me alone."
COP26 is a massive circle jerk.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
so... Was that you that just made that noise, or do I have to kill a cat? Oh, it was you.
What is...
By the way, I'm tired of hearing it's just Canada. It's not.
No, it's not.
Every G7 and G20 nation is doing all of this exact same bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Australia, New Zealand.
All of them.
Germany, Britain.
It's just like Australia, right? Everyone's crying, saying Australia's this shithole. Australia's this shithole. If you actually listened to when Barron was on Monkey yesterday, he explained it perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, New South Wales, where he used to live in Victoria, they're the ones going to shit.
Yep.
He lives in Queensland. They're perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, what? New South Wales is on, 300 days of lockdown, and they had 6.
Yeah.
It's just like here. Quebec, full fucking authoritarian lockdown. Ontario, party over here. Yeah. It's worldwide.
It is.
I'm putting it back to chain of command.
Yep. So, okay, so this says...
By the way, 26, every year the United Nations holds a global climate change conference known as a COP, which stands for Conference of the Parties. This year marks the 26th anniversary, giving it the name COP26, and the UK this year is the president. So it is quite literally a circle jerk. It's a classic UN circle jerk. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted
So
to
this
put that out there.
next point,
Yep.
Randy Poisneau, the only Alberta liberal who isn't also under investigation for alleged campaign fraud,
is now Minister of Tourism.
Yep.
Because that just makes perfect sense.
Oh, it does. So the next item is Stephen Gilbo, the bearded guy on the right, hates it when we publish this photo, and this is the photo that. And now we're gonna look at the Alberta. Some stuff happened in Alberta. In one of the closest referendum results in Canadian history, Alberta will continue to observe daylight savings time clock changes. The status status
quo. Yeah.
Won by 50.51% to 49%. The popular push to abolish the twice-yearly clock changes was hobbled at the 11th hour
due to advocacy from sleep scientists.
Then they're not actually... What sleep scientist thinks it's a good idea to change the... Oh my God.
I know. Well, because they think that it keeps you more in a consistent circadian rhythm. That's what that's about.
I guarantee you we had a better circadian rhythm before we had changing our clocks around.
Good Lord. It says, while the referendum only gave Albertans the option of switching to permanent daylight time, the University of Calgary's Michael Antal, among others, argued that the province would be better served by switching to a permanent standard time. And also, as suspected, Alberta also voted to strip equalization from the Constitution.
Yeah, so
what does that mean?
So during each province has to pay an equalization payment to the federal government, and
so that's what they call theft.
And then it gets divvied up to pay for all of the things that we get from the federal government. Like it's a circle. It's a circular system, right? We pay our equalization payments, and what's supposed to happen is the government is then supposed to allocate those funds in as part of, how they help subsidize the provinces.
So it's from each according to their ability to each according to their need?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
sounds legit.
But Alberta is upset because they feel that they're not getting enough in return. Now, they can vote in a referendum all they want to strip equalization from the Constitution. But that's not going to do anything.
They still have to pay it.
As this says here, changing the Constitution requires a lot more than a provincial referendum. It needs an act of Parliament and the approval of 7 provinces. But it's a clear sign that Albertans don't much like paying billions to Ottawa that they never get back. So yeah, they feel like they're not getting it back.
So they're greedy for wanting to keep the money that they've made?
No, they're not. So no, they're not greedy, but in wanting to keep their money that they've made, they just don't understand how a province with less population obviously sends less money, therefore gets less.
Okay, so you get according to what you sent?
Something
You get the same proportion, or is that
I believe
more
so.
of a guideline?
I
Really?
need to do more digging into equalization. Equalization is pretty complicated, but it is.
All right. In Canada, the federal government makes equalization payments to provincial governments to help address fiscal disparities among Canadian provinces based on estimates of provinces' fiscal capacity, their ability to generate tax revenues.
Yeah.
A province that does not receive equalization payments is often referred to as a have province, while one that does is called a have not. So some of them get money, some of them don't get
Yeah.
money. Everybody pays, though. In
Yeah.
2021, the 5 provinces will receive $20.5 billion in equalization payments from the federal government. And the next year, 2022, provinces and territories will receive basically $84 billion through major transfers. Equalization payments are one example of what are often collectively referred to in Canada as transfer payments.
Yes.
That's a freighted term. A term used in other jurisdictions to refer to cash payments to individuals. The purpose of equalization payments is to enable the have not provinces to provide public services which are reasonably comparable to those in other provinces. Okay,
Yeah.
so good intentions at similar levels of taxation. The money the provinces receive through equalization can be spent in any way the provincial government desires and often help guarantee a standard level of health care, education, and welfare in the provinces. The definition of reasonably comparable levels, however, has been the subject of considerable debate among politicians, journalists, academics, and criminals.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Alberta is not happy that we have this system.
Because they produce a bunch of money and they don't get much. They're considered to be a have province,
they are.
Aren't they?
Yes.
Haha.
But see, Alberta has this old world conservative view that this whole, I don't care if you're hard up, that's not my issue
That's why they want to secede.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that the reason Canada was such a great country and can be again was that we did take care of each other. We didn't give each other the way Canada used to be was we took care of each other, but we still expected those we took care of to
pull their
help
weight
themselves. Yeah.
All right, I've got a question for you. Is Ontario considered to be a have province?
Yes. Yes.
Is Newfoundland considered to be a have not?
Yes, it would be. Okay.
So the rural, lacking in services kind of provinces. What's that other one that's over on the right?
I would say
the provinces are so fucking big.
I would probably say that the territories, Nunavut would probably be a have-not province.
That's a have
or a territory.
Okay. Northwest Territory, Yukon.
Northwest Territories, Yukon, probably Saskatchewan.
Oh, Saskatchewan
would be a have-not province as well.
Manitoba.
Manitoba probably would fall. Quebec, Alberta, BC would probably all be have provinces.
Okay.
And maybe I doubt if any of the maritime maybe PEI, but I'm not sure if any of the maritime provinces would fall into the have.
Now PEI is that Prince Edward Island or something.
Yep. That's where the Anne of Green Gables story comes from.
Right, Anne of Green Gables. I haven't thought about that in a while.
I don't care. I loved that series when I was growing up.
That was one of the first streams that you and I did together.
Yeah.
When we talked about that quite extensively.
I would really like to go to Prince Edward Island just once.
Yeah. It would be interesting to. There are a lot of interesting.
So yeah,
places
Alberta threw a fit and had a vote that means nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and
it was
here's
mostly symbolic. It was probably to get people on the record as much as anything.
Yeah. But it meant it was symbolic, but it meant just about as much as the Quebec referendum did.
Yeah. We are going to secede. Yeah.
We will separate. Okay, you do that.
Yeah. We will sail Quebec into the Atlantic and be an island.
So this goes on to, this is the next one. So this says, not only has Canada categorically failed to evacuate its Afghan allies, but we now may be leaking their names and identities to the Taliban. Earlier this month, Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada accidentally sent out an email blast with the names of Afghans who worked for Canada information that could result in deadly reprisals if it fell into the hands of the Taliban.
I saw that woman.
Well done.
Who was beheaded in front of her husband.
Yeah.
God, that was just. I shouldn't have looked.
Yeah.
That was, and they really are doing this stuff. They are going door to door and just hauling them out and shooting them. Shooting the children in front of the parents and then killing the parents.
Yeah.
That's just hate. That's not
nice.
Nice.
Talek says accidentally. Yeah. Yeah. With big air quotes. Yeah.
Playing out like a friggin' movie, and you're absolutely right, Talek. God damn it. I don't even know.
Oh, thank you for the Streamlabs donation, Gunfox. So this comes in to say Margaret Trudeau, dear Maggie, was found to be collecting speaking fees from a Toronto nonprofit that has received nearly $6 million in grants from her son's government.
Imagine my shock.
Of course. According to CTV, Elevate, a non-profit that is also registered to lobby the Prime Minister's office, hired Margaret to speak at a Toronto event it held earlier this month. It's far from the first time that a charity received millions from the Trudeau government has simultaneously become interested in hearing speeches from the Trudeau family. No, it is not the first time. And I'm sure it will not be the last.
Suddenly, the Trudeau family speechifying has become insanely popular, and they're willing to pay any amount of money for it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Justin is handing them the money to pay to his relatives.
Yep.
Because that's not corrupt at all.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
We got nothing better here with Hunter Biden. Are you kidding me? We're owned by China.
So here we go. We've got a couple more here. As COVID-19 was already surging through Canadian communities in early 2020, Canadian military intelligence was reassuring top leaders that there was nothing to worry about. According to internal documents, everything's fine. According to internal documents acquired by Wesley Wark, a researcher at the Center for International Governance Innovation. Innovation is
something else, yes.
Yes. The Canadian Armed Forces fully accepted Chinese claims that the disease was not spreading person to person, and even praised Beijing for being open and transparent.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Wow, Armed Forces of Canada. Wow.
Impressive.
Wow.
you certainly are on board with these Chinese
Oh
bunch.
my
Oh my
God.
God. Oh God. The next story, it just gets better and better. While Jean Chrétien claims he had no knowledge of endemic sexual abuse in residential schools whilst he was Minister of Indian Affairs in the early 1970s, it's not due to any shortage of abuse reports. CBC took a look at just one residential school, St. Anne's Indian Residential School in Ontario, and found that it sent at least 4 reports to Ottawa detailing student abuse during the period that Chrétien was in charge. At the time, St. Anne's was just one of several dozen schools operating under the purview of Chrétien's ministry.
Now, what I would like to know is, they sent the reports to Ottawa, but how many of Chrétien's flunkies
Squashed them
before they got there? Before they got to his desk.
Yes.
Because he was the one, he offered. There's an interview that I covered yesterday for one of the coffee shots. And when he was the Minister of Indian Affairs, he was approached by Native groups and was told, this is an apartheid system. And shown, look, you put us out on reservation, all this stuff. And you know what he said? You're right. Let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of my portfolio. Let's get rid of the Ministry of Indian Affairs. Let's get rid of the Indian Act. Let's get rid of everything. And we'll fix this. We'll get you guys off the reserves No, that would be a cultural genocide. You can't do that.
You can't have it both ways.
No, you can't.
And that's a problem in the United States too, where you have Indians who are First Peoples or whatever they're calling themselves, living on reservations, who want to keep their what they call their culture intact. And their culture is essentially a culture of poverty and some remembered traditions. It really isn't much more than that. It's not a rich culture, it's essentially a dead culture. It's not expanding. It's not dynamic. It isn't full of energy and imagination, like a healthy culture is. On the other hand, it's just something that is ritually preserved and is nothing more than a ticket for to get money from the government.
Is it interesting to learn about? Yeah, but
the history is. But the current state of affairs on the reservation, no, that's not really very interesting, except from a sociological pathology.
Medieval history is interesting to study. I don't want to live there.
Exactly. What I'm trying to separate is the current condition on reservations is dismal. It may have an interesting history, and it's interesting to study. Studying them now is just a study of social pathology, a study of a group of people who have isolated themselves and are in decline. They don't ride horses anymore. They don't, do the things that characterized their culture when it was interesting. Now they're just a poor version of, they live a life very similar to a city ghetto dweller.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad and it's bad, and it's because the government has robbed them of the opportunity often, and certainly the incentive to go out and work. And this is what happened when the government gives you money.
Yep.
You'll sit there and play video games till the food runs out, and then you'll complain that you're hungry, and you don't have any control over your situation.
No.
It's the situation for the First Peoples, as they like to be called, is really very pathetic, in my opinion. It's going to take generations, and I mean generations and generations for that to get well.
So
Anyway,
I think this is the last one. So it says, while we're on the topic of octogenarian former prime ministers, Brian Mulroney thinks election 44 was a dumb, pointless waste of time. Well, I guess the world is going to hell because I actually agree with Brian Mulroney on something. He also called on Canada to dramatically increase its population to 100 million.
Why?
How?
Well, we know how, but why?
Now, Mr. Mulroney, do you want us to increase our population in our citizenry, or do you want us to import our population? Are you going to start giving us incentives to have kids?
No, just urging.
Because let me tell you, if I was told right now that I would get like a $20,000, birthing bonus plus like tax credits till my kids were 18, I'd be like, Pincalo, go get unfixed. Let's go.
Yeah.
We need more money.
Head down to the old sperm bank.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a withdrawal, please. And it's kind of simultaneous withdrawal and deposit. Well, we're on a pretty classy stream here.
We do. We hope you've enjoyed your time with the classiest of classy people.
That's
here
what we are.
On the Blind Press YouTube channel. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. It's
Suitable
been fun.
For your pastors.
It's been fun. I do thank you guys for watching. Remember to come back on Friday for...
Go check out the new short, little, tiny Patreon clip that I put up. That was a pain in the ass to make.
There's a Patreon promo on my YouTube channel. Be sure to catch me on Twitch tomorrow afternoon. And I'll be doing the Blind Press After Dark on Friday night at 10 because that's when the money match is scheduled.
And I won't be here on Saturday.
Oh, you won't?
I will be in San Antonio celebrating my dad's 94th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to your dad.
Thank you. It's going to be an exciting day, but I am so sorry.
Since it's your topic, should I pick a different topic?
Pick a different topic and take it forward. Yeah.
Okay, that's what we'll do. We'll do. So I will come up with a substitute topic for Saturday, and then we will do the sci-fi mix-up. Sci-fi
that's
franchise
really going to be some fun. I think we can really have some fun.
It'll be good. We'll have a great time.
Yeah.
So thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, and have a great rest of your Wednesday. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for having me on, by the way.
Of course.